Hi-ho, Stampers, Deb Valder here, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I am so excited to show you this card. It has to do with the Scallop tag topper, and there's a lot going on to it, but it's not hard at all. My scallop tag is over here, and I'm going to use the envelope punch board to make a little library pocket for the inside of it for my gift card. So let me just show you how to do this. I started off with a piece of cardstock that is 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. And then what I did was I folded it over at the 4 1/4 inch mark, and I just slid it into my scallop tag topper punch. And I just kind of eyeballed it and centered it side to side. And since we're doing this both, we're punching it both pieces at the same time, it doesn't have to be perfect. So just eyeball it, try to center it, and then just take and punch. Makes a lot of noise, but it works good. Okay, now we're just going to take and we're going to slide it out. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our cutter and we're just going to cut off our little tabs. And I'm using white cardstock. I can cut through both of these at the same time. You're just going to have to apply a little bit more pressure. So what I did was, this is our gully right here inside our trimmer, and what I did was where this notch is, I just took this end of the notch and I put it into the gully so it lines up. So I just kind of find my little hold and I push this in as far as it'll go, and then I just cut. See? And then I'm going to do the same thing down here below. I'm just going to find the hole and then just cut and take those away. And now our card is almost done. Okay? So that is the base of the card, and let's start putting part of it together. Now this card right here I made Smoky Slate and Blushing Bride, but I thought I would do sort of a male version of this, so I'm going to do it with Bermuda Bay and black. I thought the two of those would go nice together. Now I ran this piece through the Alphabet Press embossing folder, and what I love about this is both sides are absolutely gorgeous, so you can pick which side you want. I always like this side where it's indented. This is the outdented side, but they're both nice, and depending on what style you are, you can decide which one you want. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to apply that there. The measurements are going to be on my blog, so hop on over to my blog when you're done watching the video, and you can get all the measurements for that. Okay, now I need to make the tag. The tag is done. The bottom piece is going to be done with a 2 by 4 inch piece. So I just took my 2 by 4 inch piece, and then I'm going to take my tag topper punch, and I'm going to punch this out. So I just slide this in and punch, and then I turn it over, I slide it in, and I punch. Okay, so that is the bottom piece of my tag topper punch, and now my top piece is going to be just a little bit smaller. So what I did was I cut this at 3 3/4 by 1 3/4. So I'm just going to take it, I'm going to slide it in here and punch. I'm going to slide it in here. And what I'm doing, you'll see, is that because it's not 2 inches wide, I just center it from side to side and then just punch this. So what I did was I stamped the whole stamp onto a scrap piece of paper with the Bermuda Bay, and I just punched it out with the 1/2 inch circle punch. So I just took a scrap piece of paper and then just popped it out just like this. Okay. So the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to take, like I said, you're going to take and you're going to pop that on there. So we'll take our pop dots here, our dimensionals, and just add a dimensional here and here, and pop it onto, let's get this onto the card so you can see it. We're going to take and we're going to pop it right onto here like this. Get it nice and centered. I actually have a birthday that I need to do this for, so. And then I'm just going to take and attach it to the front. And there's the front of our card. Okay, now what we're going to do is, let me just show you the inside. The inside is just put together. This reminds me of just like a little a briefcase. Okay, so when we open it up, you see here's the tag topper on the bottom, and here's the tag topper on the top. And then in here, we have a gift card holder. And what I call this is a library pocket. And we can do that with our envelope punch board. So let's try that right now. I'm going to take, and what I'm going to do is, this piece right here is a piece of black cardstock, and I just ran it through my alphabet letterpress again, and then I'm going to take my envelope punch board, and I'm just going to do the corners. Now you can use your envelope punch board for corners, yes, absolutely. So what I do is, where this pointer is, at the very end, I call this the cave opening, and right here at the end where the cave opening is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the side of, the edge of my card. So here at the cave opening, can you see that? It's lined up. Go, just follow this pointer all the way down, and what we're going to do is we're going to make just a little decorative edge. Punch. So now what we have is, let me just get my card so you can actually see it. So now what we have is our decorative edges done with the envelope punch board. Okay, so I'm just going to take it, I'm going to adhere that in. Again, you can decide which side you like showing, and you're just going to adhere that into the card. And now let's make our library card. Now I want my finished library card to be 2.5 by 2 3/4. So it's 2.5 inches wide and 2.5 inches tall and 2 3/4 inches wide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with a piece of cardstock that is 6 by 2 3/4. Now how did I come up with that measurement? Well, I wanted this to be 2 3/4 inches wide, so what I needed to do was I needed to add 2 3/4 and 2 3/4. That's double the size, and then I need to add a 1/2 inch for my little flap. So 2 3/4 plus 2 3/4 plus a 1/2 equals 6. So that's how I got the width of it. I wanted this, the tall part of it, to be the height part of it. What you're going to do is you're going to decide what it is. I want it to be 2.5. So I needed to add 2.5 plus 1/4. So for the width, for the height part of it, you're going to take whatever size you want and just add 1/4 to it. And I will show you on my blog some other measurements that you can do, as long as you remember that the width is going to be double what you want it to be plus a 1/2 inch, and the height is going to be what you want it to be plus 1/4 inch. I know it sounds kind of confusing, but once you get going, you'll understand it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to use our envelope punch board and we're going to start putting it together. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to punch at 3 1/4. So I'm just going to take my punch and I'm going to punch at 3 1/4. I flipped it and we're going to punch it again at 3 1/4. So it looks like this. Now we're going to keep my punch board here, and we're also going to use side by side my my trimmer. So now what I need to do is I need to score this piece right here. Now you see this part is a little bit smaller than this part. Well, what you want to do is on the long end, okay, what did we just punch it at? 3 1/4. So what am I lining up my my trimmer with? 3 1/4. So that way there I know it's in the middle of my punches. Now the other thing I need to do is I need to make this side equal to this side. So I'm going to take and I'm going to flip it over, and on the long side I'm just going to score it at a 1/2. Now remember I told you this is 2 3/4, 2 3/4, and a 1/2. So that's where I got the measurement of 6. Okay, it is 6. It's 2 3/4 plus 2 3/4 plus my 1/2. Okay, everybody with me so far? Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is we need to fold this in half. We're going to go back to our punch board. We're going to keep going back and forth. We're going to go back to our punch board. We're going to close our little pocket, and you'll see that I've got these decorative edges. Now you think that this is the top, but it's not. This is going to be the top. So now what I need to do is I need to actually make this decorative piece right here. So I'm going to take and I'm going to put this edge right here on the cave opening. Remember I told you what the cave is? You follow this pointer all the way in, and when you hit the end of the plastic, that's where we're going to punch. So I'm going to take and I'm going to punch right there. And actually, if you want to line this up equally on both sides, you can just take your this is going to be at 2 7/8. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a piece of paper right here so that I know when I punch this time, it's going to be accurate, and we're going to turn it over and we're going to punch the same over here at 2 7/8. Okay? If you're not comfortable with these measurements over here, basically what I did was I just lined up this score mark with the end of the cave right here. Okay? With the end of this plastic, go to the end, and that's where you're going to line up this score mark. Okay? So now you should have something that looks like this, We're still not done. We're still going to be working with all of our instruments. Now what we're going to do is we're going to just take and cut off these little toppers right here. And it doesn't have to be anything perfect because this is going to be put on the inside. Okay, so now it looks like this. Okay, so now we need to make our little flaps. So what we're going to do is the edge that has the score mark up here on top, we're going to take and put that up at the top of our trimmer, and we're going to use this gully again, and we're going to line up that little divot right here in the gully. And the top part of it, now be mindful of what is scoring and what is cutting. We're going to cut the top off, lift it up, push it down, and what we're going to do with the bottom is we're going to score. Okay, so now I have a flat end and a scored end. Now we need to turn this over, and we're not going to do the same thing. We're going to do the opposite. This piece down here is not going to be touched at all. This is the part that we cut right here. So now we need to cut the opposite side. So line up your little gully right here, and we're going to cut off the top. Let me just show you. So we're going to take and we're going to, whoops, that's my scoring. We're going to take and we're going to cut it down to this little divot, and that's it. We're not going to score the other part. So now I have one cut here and one cut here, one tab out and one tab out. Now this one does have a score on it. So let me show you what we're going to do next. You're going to take your little pocket and you're going to fold it. And this part right here is the solid part, so that's going to be the top of your library pocket. You're going to fold this in just like that. Then you're going to put your adhesive right here. You're going to glue it shut like this, and then on the bottom we're going to bring this flap over, because on a real library pocket, this flap is on the outside. If you don't want that to show, you can actually put it on the inside also. For this project, it doesn't really matter because we're going to glue this down to we're going to glue this into our pocket. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to add my embellishments, which are these. But I wanted to show you how I stamped this little guy right here. This stamp set, both the words and the little candles, are from Another Great Year. The words on the front were from Perfect Penance, but this one is from Another Great Year, and I just love this stamp set. And I'm using this little piece right here for the candles. So what I did was I took my candles, and instead of stamping the whole thing, I just stamped the candle part of it right here. And so on the bottom, all I have are little candles. And that's going to go on the inside of my card. Let me just show you the one that's completed. So here's the outside. I added my ribbon. Here's the part that I popped on. I used my alphabet letter press for the outside. And then when I opened it, I used the alphabet press. Remember, I did my my corner punches here with my envelope punch board, and then I made my library pocket, and then I just added my pieces with my candles and my words, and just add your gift card to the outside of it, just like, or to the inside of it, just like that. Put your ribbon through it, and you have a great gift card holder. So I hope you enjoyed my blog. I hope you learned something. We used a lot of tools today, but they're tools that you really do need. So hop on over to my blog. You'll see where you can purchase from my store, and it's just a great gift. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care and have a great day.